Thank you for taking a few minutes to learn how Gravity is using AI in our application. When AI is used correctly, it can make a business process more efficient. It can provide better and faster analysis, and even identify errors before they end up in your financial reports. Gravity, we're not just stopping there. We're using AI as a tool inside our accounting application to give users access to the data information where they need it most in their everyday office applications. Let's look at how we're doing them. First off, Gravity is written on a Microsoft Power Platform. This platform is owned and run and managed by Microsoft in the Microsoft data centers. With over 56 million users and huge investments by Microsoft, this platform every day is gaining additional functionality. But let's look at some of the tools. There's Power BI, which is a business analysis tool, a picture worth 1,000 words. Power Automate, a workflow tool, a tool that allows users to automate tasks. And most importantly, Copilot, which is Microsoft's AI engine. It's an application that's built in at the platform level, and that means it's pervasive everywhere in Gravity. Now, some of our competitors are only using AI as a layer on top of their application, which means it's only available in those spots where they've actually enabled it. But in Gravity as part of the platform, it's available everywhere. Now, let's talk about Copilot for a minute. There's a couple of important facts to understand. First off, Copilot does not share a company's data with the outside world and their learning models. It encrypts those conversations so that they're secure and they're not going to be seen by anybody outside of the organization that has security. Also, Copilot is available across all of the Microsoft applications. Now, this is important because we are using Copilot in the Gravity stack on the left. But that same engine, the same AI engine, can be available in Outlook and in Teams, and in Word and Excel. Now, what does that mean? Well, I can be in Outlook. I can get an email from a customer. I can ask Copilot to pull up some information about that customer from Gravity. Now, I don't have to leave email. I don't have to open up the accounting application, search for something, then come back to my email. I can do everything within that one application. I can do it within Teams, so on. This really makes the data inside of Gravity much more useful, much more accessible where we need it. Another fact on Copilot, it is actually built on third-party language models. So we have the choice of using a ChatGPT versions, clogged versions, and even some other models as Microsoft tests them and makes them available. Again, remember that security is everywhere from the standpoint of whatever you see in Copilot is based on your Gravity security. So I can't ask for something that I don't have access to in Gravity. Secondly, information in Copilot is not shared outside of your domain. It's kept encrypted, which is very important today because everybody's concerned about making sure that our information doesn't get out, because we're quite often in AI asking questions that could be based on non-disclosure agreements or contracts or so on. So it's important to know that we don't share that information outside of our organization. Let's look at what this means inside of Gravity. We'll go to Gravity, which is a web-based application, and you'll see here the ability to navigate through different areas and so on. But I'm going to turn Copilot on. Remember, we don't have to have Copilot on if we don't need it, so it doesn't get in the way. But by coming up here, I've basically enabled Copilot. Now I can start asking it questions. I can ask it information both about Gravity and about other applications and so on. First off, I want Copilot to visualize my invoice history here. It's going out there, and it's built a map here of my invoice information. Maybe I want to look at it a little bit different. I want to look at it by my top 5 customers. But I can start to play with this. I can push it to Power BI. I can do all kinds of graphs. One of the things we found is that many times people just don't want to take the time or have the skills to learn how to do a graph like this. Here we have Copilot, who's reading the data and trying to interpret it for you and giving you that picture worth 1,000 words. Let's take another look here at using Copilot for something else. I'm going to ask it a question here. I'm going to ask Copilot to show me all the bills that are vouchers that are over 90 days old with a remaining balance of over $20,000. Now it's going out there and getting that information. And you're seeing it now start to come back and tell me what it's doing. It basically uses enterprise software as a default, but we could ask it for any of our companies. And you see now it's giving me a list of those. I can, if I want to, I can move this bar over just a little bit so we can see more. Now, I can do things like pop it into Excel from here. I can basically click in if I want to. So the idea here is using Copilot as a tool to be able to pull information up in a query. Now, could I've done this query otherwise? Sure. But what's nice is I just have to ask you a few pieces of information. And maybe I want to go further. It's going to give me some notes and so on. But maybe I want to go further and ask us some additional questions about one of the items up there so I can interact with them. But I'm still in Gravity at this time. Now, let's see what happens if I start to work in Outlook. I'm going to open up Outlook here. Now, I've got my Outlook email here, and I just got approval for a vendor, and I need to see some more information about that vendor. I'm going to open up Copilot here, and I'm going to, again, ask for the Gravity translator. That's our call, MCP. So let me ask Copilot for some information on Acme. I want to know how much I owe them and when the last payment was made. Before I actually go out there to approve this, I need to have some more information. Copilot has just returned some information for me. It basically gave me how much I owe, and it's also telling me that all of it's over 90 days overdue. I didn't ask for that. Being an AI engine, I figured that was an important piece of information. It also gave me the last payment of $22,000, the date. I can scroll over a little bit to see more of it. There was a check, what the check number was, and so on. It's also even giving me a little bit more payment history here, knowing that I need to review this and make an approval. It's giving me the information I asked for and some more additional information to help, but I never left Outlook. This is data coming from Gravity into my email. Let's take another look at it in Teams. If I open Teams, you'll see I already have Copilot here. I'm going to ask Teams for some balance sheet information because I'm working on some financial reporting for somebody, and they've asked me for a few pieces of information about enterprise software for 2021. I'm going to go ask Copilot to please look up that balance sheet for me. So now Copilot has returned that balance sheet, so I can see here all the items that I need to answer those questions without leaving Teams. I don't have to go open the accounting application, run a report, come back here. Now, how can Copilot do this? Because as part of the Gravity MCP engine that we wrote the translator, we taught it how to run our reports. It knows what a balance sheet is, and it knows how to get it and create that balance sheet from Gravity data. We've given it information about vendors and customers and how to do an aging and so on. The goal here is to be able to give a user access to the information no matter where they need it. In Microsoft Word, I could do this. In Microsoft Excel or Teams or Outlook, so on. Microsoft has provided us with this fantastic tool in Copilot that really gives us the ability to work where we want to work and not have to be opening and closing different applications just to find a piece of information. Thank you for taking a few minutes to learn more about Gravity's AI usage.